I can kick the door in, but that's not likely to work. I should probably look at my tasks as well and figure out where we're going next on this one. Just looking at the time. Look at the tasks. Oh, there is some stuff. We're getting through them. The victim's tattoos. Ask another about the tattoo's possible meeting. While we're in here... Right, let's go downstairs. It's nearly 9 o'clock. We're going to go and see that guy in the other building. He should be back at 9. We've been told. What else were we to do? Loads of stuff. We're getting on with stuff. Our experiment is coming together. Yeah, Revachol is pronounced Revachol. Oranje. Oh, Oranje. And class is pronounced Classier. Now I know. I've been told. These guys... do you want to talk yet, by the way?
You look like shit.
Your ruffled face reflects from the man's sunglasses.
And I don't mean that as a metaphor.
You look like shit, asshole.
Wow. You seem stable and in control. Allow me to say, alcohol really seems to have had a positive effect on you.
I think these guys want me to do something stupid. I look like I'm wearing a bald head wig there, that hat. It doesn't look right.
Now, what do you want?
His tone is impatient. There's something about this guy that matches with a face in your head. A similar but different face. He's in disguise, clearly. There's something about this. Cool shades. Are you wearing a disguise? Yes, it's a hobby of mine. He looks at you inquisitively, as if waiting for some kind of reaction or response, something to click. It's not happening, though. Who is this guy? Kim, who is this guy? He shakes his head. I'm not getting involved in this. 42%. Got some questions for you. I'm a cop. About what? You don't look like a cop. He inspects you. You know what you look like? Like a megastar. Yes, he nods. A superstar cop, of course. This again. Now, will you answer some questions for me? No, he says calmly, and just keeps staring at you. Why not? Because it's not my job. Why don't you go and do yours and solve this damn hanging? If you don't want to answer questions, maybe you want to hear me say things. Actually, I don't want to hear you say things. Come on, Jean. Okay, say things. He adopts a lighter. It's my boss! I recognise him now. It's Jean Vacquerie, and she just gave the name away. He adopts a lighter tone. I want to hear you say things. Hear that? He says he wants you to say things. Say one. Suddenly, out of nowhere, case-related things start popping up in your head. Okay, I'm doing this investigation, and it turns out he was shot and hanged. You think he was hanged as a cover-up to hide the shooting? Basically, yes. Okay, well, he corrects his blonde wig. His hair. He corrects his hair. Hey, why am I telling you this? I don't know. Why are you? He gives you an odd look. Healed morale. It's like you felt it would be intellectual stimulating and it would lead somewhere. A custom even? Strange. Oh my god, there's more. He looks at you in disbelief. You want something more. What is it? Is this not any easier yet? Come on, identify him. Failed. There's something that binds you to him. Some kind of an outfit maybe. A uniform. A nurse's uniform. Yes, nurses, why not? He's not a male nurse. I'm not going to ask that. Okay. Let's leave. See you around. Watch out for yourself, loser. Wait. Your voice. So very familiar. Did you hear it? When calling to your station and reporting your badge missing. I recognise it. Oh, really? I wonder where. I lost my badge recently when I called in to report it missing. You were there. That's where you remember me from? Yes, I haven't seen you before. Maybe. Okay then, it's probably a coincidence. People sound alike. Goodbye. No, it's not. We know who this is now.
I can't believe
I can't do it. Oh, yes, I... Right, leave. If I put on... I've got esprit de corps stuff. Like that. Nope. That. +1 esprit de corps. Oh, I've already got that. I need something else. Is there anything else? Logic, authority... That would... No, that would change that over. That's not going to work. Trousers won't help. I'm not going to do it, am I? No. Okay. We'll come back. I know who it is now. I've figured it out. Gabrielle? Is that like a... I don't think that's a real notification, but I appreciate the thought in chat. I didn't hear anything go off. But if I missed a donation there, chat, then do let me know. But I think that's just a... That would be very cool. At least my notifications haven't shown anything up. An interesting method of announcing it in chat, though. Would fit right in with the theme of this game. Oh, what's this? The theme on that pinball machine is standard royalist theme, used on everything from pinball cabinets to full-flavour cigarettes. What are its hallmarks? Clinging to a picture book version of the past century, waiting for the king to come back and cast out all the profiteers and homosexuals. Basically imagine a yellow plastic crown with a liquor brand emblazoned on it. The idea of a king in a century gone is pretty fascinating. The sentiment is called anti-centennial nostalgia, pining for a time before the turn of the century. It's common even now after 50 years. The hell? It's clear you like the hard stuff, brother. The what? Sounds like my stomach is growling. Evening falls. The time has come to take the vows. The vows? The vows of blood and flesh. What is my lower intestine going on about? The term is metabolic and circulatory system. Okay, but what is the hard stuff? Fascism, brother. What is fascism, though? Many things, but it's mostly about trusting your gut. Who does your gut tell you is the source of Revachol's problems? Foreigners, financiers, leftist academicians, liberals. I thought you were my circulatory system. Quit stalling, brother. We were talking about the weakest, worst, most insane thing. The weak link. Financiers. Let's go with that. Yes, them, but also... Women? Women. Men of woe. You don't like them. They're insane. Their idiocy needs to be scrubbed off this world with rubbing alcohol. Women need to go back to the kitchen. For anyone listening to this, I am reading this off a screen before I get banned. That's what fascism boils down to. The rest is also important, but the main thing is that women need to know their place. Am I having some kind of stomach seizure? Stomach truth. You're having a stomach truth. Why am I getting this? Because you've said the hard things that others won't say. The good things, you've said them many times. Fascism sounds so bad, though. What if we called it something else, like traditionalism? Okay, let's call it that. Good thinking. Traditionalism, you sound like the sound of that? Okay, stomach, I've made up my mind about fascism. You're going to keep your vows, right? Keep your vows, brother? Absolutely not. I'm not going to be played by an upset stomach. There's a slow, painful growl somewhere in your intestines, knocking on your alcohol-engorged liver. It is one of betrayal and disappointment. Yes, I think we'll kick fascism into touch. Thank you very much. I need to go and talk to this man in the other apartment very quickly. It's now post 9 o'clock, so we can go and do that. And I think I'll run back in and talk to that geezer. That's not the apartments. How do I get to the apartments as fast as possible? This way, I think. Let's go. We can actually run pretty fast across town when we put our minds to it. We'll go in through the front door. He'll never expect that. Except he will. Which apartment was it? And is it only accessible through the balcony at the back? It might be, you know. Did I check this door here? And that leads out... Oh, that leads out to the front balcony. Okay. What was that one? That was locked, wasn't it? Knock again. Female voice. Leave. We'll come back to that. I think it might be that. It's either that or we have to go out. Oh no, that was Kuno's place. And that was a stinking bathroom. So we have to go out and up the stairs. Oh, not this way. No, I've taken the wrong door. Silly boy. see, where are we? Yeah, that's fine. Right, back in there, please. Don't forget to click the orbs around your head. And was it tomorrow I had to come back here? Some of the guides, as in the in-game tips and stuff, say just come after 9 o'clock. And some say come... You hear distant traffic, night is falling on the city. A maroon glow of light pollution rises from the east. Can't try those two doors. But the lights are on, so let's try it. This door is made of metal and appears to be reinforced. Someone here really values their security. Knock. No one answers. We should return tomorrow. Okay. I'm gutted at that. Still, one less thing to do today. We'll run... Where will we run? We shall run back to the pub. And we'll go and talk to those brothers, I guess. That'll be the plan. Should have some new news on them. Can I actually... I can escape here, can I? Yes, I can. I wish there was a quick way through there. I could go and... Yeah, go on. We've got a bit of time. Let's go down to the docks. Now I've got my police badge back. This is going to open up some new areas of investigation. Remember this rich lady on the boat? Your room in the Whirling isn't much bigger than this sloop. This is worth more than you'll ever earn in your entire life. Okay, we've got our police badge.
You're back. Good. What can I help you with?
Okay, show you... I found my badge, by the way. By love, you did. She inspects a piece of blue plastic, her eyes scanning from left to right. Fast, observantly, like an electronic printer. She hands it back to you. Pleased to meet you, Lieutenant W. Freighter Dubois. I'm glad to see a man of high qualification. The situation is precarious. Seaweed drips from the badge in your hand. It smells of fish. What can I help you with, Lieutenant? How about you share your information on the lynching, now that you've seen his badge? The goalposts have moved, Lieutenant. In the absence of the badge, I have informed my employer there will be a probe. I cannot rescind that promise. She smiles apologetically. To my knowledge, the drivers are still at the roundabout. I'll tell you everything I know when you've finished with them. I didn't get any information off them. This was your plan all along? She shakes her head vigorously. My plan is to share information. The only way to do that now is by telling my employers you've kept your end, which I hope you will, because let me tell you, we are in dire waters. Meaning the information she has will raise the stakes in this game. The sooner the probe is finished, the sooner I can share crucial information with you. She takes a sip of tea. Now, is there anything I can do for you in the meanwhile? Tea, perhaps? Do you know something about these tattoos? Show her the photo. That's the man who was killed. She almost takes a photo, but then stops. I'm afraid this is a discussion for once we've cleared the lynching question. She's not been terribly helpful in this. So you know something about the tattoos. Better not to tie the forestay to the backstay on this. I hope there is something else I can help you with. She wants to answer the question. Protocol keeps her from it. By the way, I've talked to Everard Clare. You have? And how did you like Mr. Clare? Everard Clare is a hero of the workers' movement. He's a blatant robo-socialist. It's not important if I liked him. I was doing my job. Of course, Detective. Excuse me for implying otherwise. The RCM does not pick sides in this. I hope it doesn't come off any other way. Of course, and I don't expect you to share anything he told you with me. I am not a corrupt worm myself. She turns to you. However, if you felt like discussing something, how could I stop you? Are we not human? Are we not curious to hear another person's take? It's only natural. We would be, she smiles, gossiping. Intellectually speaking, it would be quite interesting to hear what she has to say about these things. Tell her, she'll like you for it. Let's talk about this. He asked me to deliver an envelope. Sounds like he has you running errands, Detective. A well-established dominance ritual, she thinks. Where did he have you deliver it? To a nameless settlement down the coast. Ah, yes, I've been meaning to go there. She looks over the bay. With longing. Clear and simple longing. Strange. What does she want to go there? Was she bored there? He wants to build a youth centre there. You're quite fond of this village, aren't you? I should be, she nods. There's that crooked smile again. In my youth, I had a brief dalliance here in Martinez. He was an older man, with impossibly broad shoulders. He's probably dead by now. Even his shack is long gone. Not that it matters. These buildings are all carbon copies of one another. You've been to Martinez before? Yes. I was slumming it with some girlfriends of mine. We had boats and... She smiles. Don't hold it against me. My paramour certainly did not. Sounds like you missed those times. Not overly so. It's not like this was the only place we visited. Me and my girlfriends from us on with our shiny boats, like reavers. We told ourselves we were the worst things to happen to the coast since the coalition landed in '08. Imagine, she tosses her head. He wants to build a youth centre here. A youth centre with Edgar Clare's statue on top of it. Her eyes run across the water, remorsefully. Go ahead, help him, make it so. I have no power to stop him. So you're sad you can't buy the place? Yes. I'm sad I'll never have the time, Detective. I've always wanted a dilapidated fishing village. She is more defensive about it than usual. Full of ghosts and ancient memories, she smiles. Has this errant yielded you any information? He asked me to open a door. A referral, you mean? I take it this was someone in the RCM. She waves her hand. Don't answer that. My liege, this woman has half convinced herself already. All it would take is a little nudge. Yes, a referral. She nods carefully, as though handling a match near a powder keg. Such referrals may sometimes get you information from a man like Everard, she says, raising an eyebrow. Did it? Detective, I advise you to be very selective with what information you choose to share. This may have consequences beyond our line of sight. Everard says the Wild Pine sent mercenaries after the Union, and now one's dead. The company did not send mercenaries after the Union. I told you in great detail about the mistakes my side made, and of course I accept them completely. I just hope you don't share Everard's view on things. After all, as he said, one's dead now. The Pine certainly hasn't killed any of theirs. Let's keep it that way, she means to add, but then doesn't. Look who's defensive suddenly. He didn't seem at all worried about the whole conflict that's developing. I wouldn't have taken Everard for a saber rattler. Was he surrounded by Union men he wanted to impress? No, it was more like he wanted to get things to get worse, in secret of course. Let's see. We were alone, and he seems very sure of his ability to keep things in control. Or he wants you and me to believe he's calm and in control. He's a politician. Of course, politics is showmanship. He's constantly performing for us and lying too. I'm sorry I don't catch more of his falsehoods. There are just so many. There's always that risk, madam, but if I may offer my opinion, he means it. Kim's right. I'm pretty sure he meant it. I'll think it over, Detective. Thank you for relaying this information to me. This gave a pause. She's pensive suddenly. Hard to say about what. If I underestimated the Union ferocity, she has to ask herself by now. That's all I've got to say for now, I think. Do I want to talk about other stuff with her? I helped him turn up the heat with the borscht. Did you now? She's intrigued, a little confused. What sort of borscht is he making? The cook makes it to keep the strikers drunk, helps them strike. The strike brew, she nods. That's a classic. By turn up the heat, I presume you mean put more alcohol in it? Yes. Why, if I may ask? Why make them more drunk? Aren't they corked enough already? Yes, Detective. What were you hoping to accomplish with this strange thing? An act born of sympathy for the working man. I set fire to the fumes of struggle. It's uninteresting. I thought it would make the broth taste better. Very curious. She blinks both eyes. A very curious thing to do. Truly, but that's how he operates. He just does things, madam, and then talks about them, even if it's inappropriate. Strange equanimity has taken over the lieutenant. Or equanimity. He's just going with the flow now. Easier that way. What else? I'd rather talk about something else for now, if you don't mind. Of course, Detective. Should anything come up later down the road, don't be afraid to drop by for a chat. You seem smart. I need someone to give me a lowdown on this reality we're in. This reality? She pulls her hood closer around her neck. Yes, reality is your side case. An experimental side case. It's related to that medical episode. I have trouble remembering even the most basic terms of reality. Now, you want me to put on voices? After 5 hours of streaming this, my voice can barely put on my own voice, let alone others. It's so text heavy. I wish I could. I wish I had a voice modulator button where I could hold a voice down as I speak and it transformed it into like a woman's voice, a Scouse voice, Glaswegian voice. That would be really cool. I don't know if such a thing exists, actually. I know you can get things that put on echo and stuff, but don't know. I think it would be cool. If you know of anything, let me know. I'll check it out. Ah, yes, the episode. Sounds like an acute case of encephalopathy. Now that I think of it, she puts down a thermal cup and looks at you. Don't be fazed, madam. He functions perfectly well. He only needs a lowdown on all of reality. We may be here a while then. She takes a long sip of tea. Ask away, officer. I'll help however I can. I've got to try some of this. Where are we? We're in Martinez, baby. Baby. A casual term of endearment popular among the 50-plus crowd. It's a disco holdover. Pay it no heed. I'm a disco holdover myself. Ha! She smiles. Aren't we all? She refers to your corresponding ages. And what is Martinez? Martinez is a district of Revachol. She looks around, her green raincoat flapping in the wind. A very small district tucked away near the industrial harbour, north of the 881 and Jamrock. You would be excused for not knowing about it. Unimportant, they say, forgotten even. Shelled to smithereens during the revolution. She shrugs. It has its charm, just not this time of year. Tell me more about Martinez. I'm not a good ambassador. I've only been here once as a teenager. Not a lot has changed. She closes her eyes. There are ruins, a terminal, fishing boats, reeds, boys with boxy shoulders. She opens them. This place used to be a province, a workers' resort before the city swallowed it and the artillery did its work. The reeds are the real star of the show here now. Further down the coast, the wilder it gets. You mentioned a sea. What sea is this? It's not really a sea. It's the Bay of Revachol, and the bay feeds into the ocean. Are we near the ocean? Yes, we're on an island in an ocean. The world's largest body of water, the Insulindic. You want me to go for it with the voices? Trust me, my throat feels like I've eaten a load of dry walnut shells or something. It's I've streamed to like 5 and 6 hours before in other games. I have never come across a game which requires so much narration as this, and I don't mind that because I'm enjoying it, but it is hard work. What is this game? It's like you play an alcoholic, drug-addicted detective from the 70s. As you can see from my look down here, who is down there slightly past it, you're sent to investigate a murder in this knackered, run-down town on the coast. It's set in a different world, by the way, but it's roughly looks like 70s sort of stuff. And instead of investigating the murder, you got so drunk and off your tits that you couldn't remember anything about your life or why you were there when you wake up. You wake up in your underpants, face down on the floor in a hotel room, and that's where the game throws you. And basically, you start trying to find out what's going on, trying to deal with things. This guy turns up, your partner for this case, and you start the investigation, and that's where it goes. It's actually really good. It's got a nice bit of humour in it. It's got an interesting story, which it seems to be several ways you can go with lots of things, and it takes a little bit to get into, but it's one I'm liking. Disco Elysium. It might have a banging soundtrack, but I've had to turn the music off, unfortunately, because the first few episodes I uploaded to YouTube all got hit with content ID claims for the music in it, so I had to turn it off after that, which is a shame. Yes, here we go. Known to the early Revacholians as Les Immensities Bleu, the blue immensities. The name of this island is Callao. She looks to the waters. Imagine a pebble, a smoothed over pebble amidst a great blue sea, misshapen, cracked. The cracks of the River Esperance. We're in the delta of this river, on the 6th branch, the Martinez distributary. My guy, his memory was so shot, he couldn't even remember anything about the world and his past life before waking up with a hangover in this hotel room. So kind of what we're doing here is one of the quests is to find out what's the current situation with the world, I think. It sounds a bit strange that it's that far gone, but that's what it is. Right, where were we? It's clear this pebble is of enormous value to her, and to humanity at large. Okay, that's Martinez. What's Revachol? What kind of city is Revachol? The great kind. What makes Revachol great? History, detective. They built this city to resolve history, our part in it, that is. Okay, who built this city? The nations of the Occident, or migrant workers from Semenine and Ilmara, depending on your creed. When was it built? In the DeLorean century, 380 years ago. And why will it resolve history? They say it's where the terrible questions of our time will be answered, the tensions are highest, the fault lines deepest. By that I mean conflicts, ideological conflicts, the stuff of men. And why here? We're standing on a fertile, self-sufficient island able to sustain up to 200 million people. Really? That's huge! In the middle of the Indian Ocean. The world's connective tissue, she smiles, is where the money is. So we're in an unimportant part of an unimportant place. I think it's fair to say so. Martinez is about... She points across the water where the skyscrapers rise. Perception, a sparkle of lights on the horizon, like an evening stars above the curvature of the planet. Oh, one of the odd things about this game is that your senses talk back to you. Like your detective senses. Perception, visualization, empathy, like this. Which is kind of cool. It's a bit like when you're playing a role-playing game and you pass a skill check and it just gives you a hint. Or fail, as often is the case in my case. 22 kilometres from the centre of the world, that soldering iron is the bank of the world building. The bottom floors are INSACOM, Coalition Government, Insulindian Mission Command. I don't really care about all this stuff, I've got to say. Part of me wants to skip through it, but I feel like I should read it out for the benefit of people watching this. I don't think there's too much relevant to the investigation here. It sounds more like law stuff, but I don't know. You think skip it. If I skip it, there'll be someone on YouTube who complains about it. I'll guarantee you. Anyway, she's gone silent. The water, the light, it's as though you're seeing it for the first time. There is no recognition, only the immensity of the sea, the cold radiating from it. Where are we? Have we done that? Observe the large body of water swelling, cold. Thoughts gained. Okay. She observes your eyes scanning the horizon, then breaks the silence slowly. This is one thought you need to complete. Where are you? Was there something else you wanted to know? I remember something about a lowdown. This has been very informative, thank you, madam. I'm sure my memory-impaired partner has many more questions to ask. He turns to you about even more fundamental aspects of reality. Might I suggest not asking them all right now? Madame Messier will be here later too, and tomorrow. Isn't that true, madam? Absolutely. My commitment here is long-term. But won't I be lazy if I don't do it all now? Of course not, he shakes his head. You're already diligent for getting this far, and diligent boys remember where they left off. I think he's coming to my rescue. Me as a streamer. Indeed, I'm always at your service. 42%. It's not a lot. What times are these? These are unimportant times, detective. She puts her finger to her lips, then points at you. You and I were born after the dust had settled. A thousandth of a second too late. Too late for what? For the big time. Her eyes light up. There's a flash of teeth. What's the big time? The revolution. Ha! And what is this revolution I keep hearing about? It's quite easy. Every 100 years or so, our species gets together to decide what's next. Who gets shot in the head, and who gets the mineral rights. It's a real kerfuffle. Would you say it was a bunch of apes duking it out? Why, of course. We're talking Duke Out Central, full swing intra-species warfare. And the apes, were they evil? No, I would say the apes were neutral. She looks at you, her gaze sharp. Okay, Neutral.